Hi everybody, I'm back. Last week I had a pretty nasty cold, but what perfect timing to be feeling better because we're talking about the immune system. Hopefully this chapter isn't too tough for you, but I have noticed in the past that some students struggle with this concept. Basically because it's not one thing you can really see. You know, when we talk about the heart, we understand what a heart is, it's tangible. But when we talk about very tiny, minute things like blood cells and lymph system and lymph fluid, those aren't things that we can kind of touch and feel, so it can feel like a abstract concept. So I'm hoping that you're feeling okay with this content. If you're not, make sure you check out the tutoring that's available. Really helpful. And if you can't find a time to do that, you can always talk to me too. But I wanted to share with you just a really quick note on your case study this week. Many of you have turned this in already, which means that you're on top of your game, and that's awesome. I'll get to grading those as soon as I can. But if you haven't taken a look at this yet, I highly encourage you to look at this section. Most of the mistakes that students make in this case study come from this chart, or this flow chart. Kind of hard to understand at first, but once you see the patterns here, I think it'll start to make sense. So what you're asked to do is take a look at a drop in arterial blood pressure. So imagine this happening in your own body. If your arterial blood pressure drops, what happens? The sympathetic nervous system then creates changes. It changes your heart, it changes your arteries, and it changes your veins. So in each of these boxes where there's a number, you'll be filling in increase or decrease. So when you have you have a drop in your arterial blood pressure, the sympathetic nervous system makes your heart increase your heart rate or decrease your heart rate. You're filling in the word that's appropriate there. And then once that heart rate changes, that makes a change with the cardiac output. Is that an increase or a decrease? Keep in mind that number 1 and number 2 should both be going in the same direction, because if the heart rate increases, the output increases. If the heart rate decreases, the output decreases. Right, same thing, you're going to follow the arrows in each case. So what happens to the force of contraction? Does that go up or down? Then that makes the end systolic volume go up or down. And then also that relates to cardiac output. So all of these things are eventually leading to an increase in your arterial blood pressure. So I'm hoping that this flow chart makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know, because I want to talk you through it before you turn in your answers. And for anyone who's already turned this in and thinking, maybe I did it wrong, you can always submit a second document. All right, last thing here, you can't click in the box to write your answer in, so all you'll be doing is just listing them afterwards. So let me just kind of put that in here so you see what it looks like. Oh my goodness, click. There we go. So you can just write 1, increase, 2, decrease, or whichever you think the answers are. So just list them out as numbers. Don't worry about trying to put your answer into this box at all. All right, I hope that helps, because that's one of the most struggly points, I guess you could say, for this course in Module 4. If you have any other questions, as always, let me know. I'm happy to help. Thanks.